Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from executeautomation.com and welcome to another video of Execute Automation. And today we're going to talk about Playwright versus Selenium. If you have noticed, from the starting of this year, I have been talking about Playwright a lot. And I have released a course on Playwright and I have also added a lot of different contents on the Playwright course, supporting language bindings like TypeScript, JavaScript, Java and C# on just one single course. I've been talking about it. And Selenium, I spoke a lot from 2014 as a video format, and in 2009 I started releasing like an articles in executeautomation.com website, and it's there for a long time. We all know about Selenium a lot of people are actually using Selenium, so Selenium is something we already know a lot. So in this video we're going to see the Playwright versus Selenium, and we'll see how Playwright is actually picking up and how it is better in some areas of Selenium and how Selenium is much better than Playwright in many areas. Alright, so let's get started. Well, as I said, before we actually get started with the Selenium or Playwright or any other automation testing tool, there requires some testing principles. These principles are something which actually governs the way that we can actually tell that this tool is better than other. So if you can see, these principles like support of modern web browsers and platforms is really important for any automation testing tool. Similarly, support of modern language binding like C#, Java, and JavaScript and Python, something like that. And similarly, support of modern web application tech stack like React.js, Vue.js, and all other modern applications which can be supported by these automation testing tool. And support of extensibility by third parties like Test Project, Catalan Studio, Microsoft's Code.ui, things of that nature. So these are something very important as well. And then support of continuous integration and delivery, Docker or any modern platform integration, open source or open source to certain degree. So these are some of the guiding principle to see which tool is actually better than other tool. This is the same principle I already talked about while choosing an automation testing tool. So these are some of the most important things that we need to see. And while looking at these principles, now if we try to see the difference between, we will know where we actually fit in. So for example, in Selenium, you can see that Selenium supports popular language bindings, which is really cool. It supports a lot of language binding. And Playwright, at the moment, it only supports 5 language binding, but there are chances that there will be new language binding support coming pretty soon in Playwright. And similarly, Selenium has extensive support of community, and you can search any questions you want or you need in Selenium and you will get it just by Googling it, because a lot of people are actually supporting Selenium and a lot of people are talking about Selenium. And Playwright has more community support as well because it is pretty similar to Puppeteer. So Puppeteer is there for almost like 2 years now and Playwright is just evolving. So whatever you search for Puppeteer, it's going to be applicable for Playwright in many cases. There are some breaking changes here and there, but you can still use it. So at this point of time, you can see that Selenium is almost like 11 or 12 years old, whereas Playwright is, if you use Puppeteer, it's just like 2 years old. So probably the community support is not that great at the moment, but it's very easy to figure out like how it's going. And similarly, Selenium is extended by many third-party tools and thus gets extended by them as well. Like Selenium is used by many tools like Test Project, Catalan Studio, and similarly by the browser stack, and a lot of modern platform as a service are actually using Selenium for running their tests. And yes, Selenium is supported over there, whereas Playwright is pretty new and no such thing actually yet applicable. So probably it will be supported pretty soon by other third parties as well. And Selenium supports various browsers along with mobile browsers, but Playwright at the moment only support Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit, which is nothing but Safari, and it won't support like Opera or any other browser that you name it. And you can see that in here, Selenium actually shines in many areas, whereas Puppeteer does not. But if we now try to reverse the plate a bit, you could see that in Playwright, it actually supports Chrome DevTool protocol natively, which is pretty cool because you could able to identify whatever you can do on the Chrome DevTools of the Chrome browser, and you can grab all those details right within the Playwright test very easily, which is something not yet available natively supported in in Selenium. At least in version 4 it is coming soon, but it is not there yet, but it's still in development. And similarly, Playwright has a native test runner, and you call it as Folio. So yes, that's already there in Playwright, whereas Selenium doesn't really have. But you can see that a lot of mature test automation runners like NUnit or JUnit actually does support that very, very well. So yes, it's already there. And similarly, Playwright has automatic waiting, which is also very, very interesting, because these are some of the features which is right now available in many modern testing tools like Cypress, and that's exactly what is already there in Playwright, which is really cool as well. Whereas in Selenium, you have something called as implicit wait and explicit wait. You need to use that. You need to define it for each and every step. So yes, it's not there like automatic waiting in Selenium yet. And then Playwright has like video capture, PDF generation, mobile emulation, and more modern way of testing the apps. Whereas in Selenium, it is not there out of the box, but you could able to achieve the same thing using different third parties. It's already there. I mean, it's a mature tool, as I told, so definitely it's already there in Selenium as well. And Playwright CLI can generate code along with cookies, storage, frames, and more. Whereas Selenium has something called as a recorder, but it won't actually generate like cookies or storage for you out of the box. You need to do it manually at the moment, not from the Selenium IDE. You can actually do that, and Playwright actually does it for you. And then Playwright gets frequent update at the moment. If you just go to the change log of the Playwright, you could see there are so many frequent updates are happening. Frequent releases are happening from Playwright, and it is maintained by Microsoft team. So you see there will be a lot of release and a lot of updates coming to the Playwright. Whereas in Selenium, it is a bit slower at the moment, and there are very less chance that the release cadence is going to improve as like Playwright. But yes, there may be chances that the updates which is released by the Selenium team is going to be much enough or compete Playwright already. So yes, there are some cases, as you can see over here, like case by case basis. If you see, Playwright also shines in some area which Selenium does not, given Playwright is a new tool and Selenium is a pretty mature tool. So yes, this is what about the Playwright and Selenium, and Playwright versus Selenium, that we can actually discuss today at this point of time in today's date on January 30th when I'm recording this video. Well, as that said, you can see that this is what is about Playwright versus Selenium, and this is really, really cool. You could also probably talk about Playwright versus Cypress, which is also one of the pretty close contender of this Playwright tool, because they both are JavaScript native tools, and you could see how they are differentiating between themselves. But at the moment, with Playwright versus Selenium, we could clearly see that Playwright is catching up to Selenium in many extent, and it is going to be not a lot of delay between the improvement of Playwright with Selenium. I think there are high chances that the adaptability of Playwright within our daily work can be very, very easily achieved, because Playwright is getting very matured given a lot of feature it's been released by the tool at the moment. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and comments about Playwright versus Selenium. If I am missing something, just let me know. You could probably add them over here. Once again, catch you in the next one.